Namaskaram. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. On behalf of the Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram, it's a great delight to welcome you to join me on day 4 of the Dhanur Dhya Sadhana series. Shri Krishna Vagishayateeshwarabhyam Samprapta Chakrankana Bhashya Saram Shrinutnarangendra Yatau Samarpitaswam Shri Krishnamaryam Guruvaryamide Virodhe Kartike Mase Shatatara Krutodayam Yogacharyam Krishnamaryam Guruvaryamaham Bhaje Krishna Suri Daya Patram Jnana Bhushanam Srimad Venkatanatharyam Vandeham Yoga Deshikam Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. We have been exploring different themes for the talks and the meditative practices these last few days. Day 4 of Margari, we take up the next two pasurams, Pasuram 3 and Pasuram 4 of Goda Devi of the Tirupavai as our focus for reflection, subsequently connecting it to a very beautiful set of verses from the Bhagavad Gita. Pasuram 3. ஓங்கி உலகளந்த உத்தமன் பேர்பாடி நாங்கள் நம் பாவைக்கு சாற்றி நீராடினால் தீங்கின்றி நாடெல்லாம் திங்கள் மாறி பெய்து ஓங்கு பெருஞ்சென்னல் ஊடுகயலுகள பூங்குவளை போதில் பொறிவண்டு கண் படுப்ப தேங்காதே புக்கிருந்து சீர்த்த முலை பற்றி வாங்க குடம் நிறைக்கும் வள்ளல் பெரும் பசுக்கள் நீங்காத செல்வம் நிறைந்தேலோ ரெம்பாவாய். ஓங்கி உலகம் அலந்த. The first words speak of Mahavishnu's avatara in the short-statured Vamana, who subsequently becomes Trivikrama, the one who spans the two worlds, the earth and the heavens, with but 2 steps, placing his third stride on the head of Mahabali as a lesson in overcoming the pride and arrogance that Mahabali demonstrates. What is very important here in this Pasuram is that Andal is describing everything that is needed for a land to be bountiful, to be prosperous. She says, specifically focusing on rain. Thingindri nadellam tingal mari peidhu. It is not enough if it just rains. It must rain in the right time, when required, with the rains bringing no harm to life or to property. With ample rain that appears several times, it says, Madam mummari peidhu. There is a tradition, there is you could say not even a belief, but it was an observed fact that regular rains would occur multiple times a month, apart from the rains brought in by the monsoons. And that was symbolic of a land that was thriving in the bounty of nature. With ample rain, the fields are filled tall with paddy crops. The canals where the water flow are filled with fishes that dance, that prance around in the waters, in the clean waters. Typically, we see this idea of fish prancing around, of being very joyful when the waters are fresh, when we are speaking about a sustainable source of water, a water source that is not polluted. I think these are lines that are very important to call a reminder to where we are as We allow the leaking of so much of chemical effluents and sewage into the water bodies, bringing great harm to life, dumping of plastic into our oceans, again causing a significant threat to aquatic life and so on. So Andal's vision is a very beautiful one of the land being fertile, verdant, paddy growing in abundance, water bodies filled with fishes and other aquatic creatures, with bees humming around, beautiful gardens that are filled with flowers. All of this is the basis for the cattle that feed on the bounty of the land. And in turn, Andal says, simply by a touch, they spill forth the milk that fills up their udders. All of these are symbolic of the country, of a land that is flourishing. She says, let this prosperity never diminish. Ningada selvam niraindelor empavai. Let there be undiminishing abundance, undiminishing bounty. Let us all be the benefiters of nature's abundance. Here she speaks of Vamana as Uttama, the Uttama Avatara, because in the Vamana Avatara, there is no destruction, there is no samhara, but there is elevation of Mahabali, a removal of his ego, Mahabali being anointed king of the nether realms, and he ensures he attains the Sadgati, he attains the moksha, the state of Vaikuntha, by Vishnu's pada touching on his head. The cow, very significantly here, there's a very beautiful connection. Today happens to be Thursday, Guruvara, a day that is set aside to honor the gurus of all the paramparas. And so here she says, Vanga kudam niraikum vallal peruppasukkal. The cows yield forth from their udders abundantly. Here, a parallel is drawn to the entire Guru Parampara. We have so many sampradayas, so many lineages, so many gurus, mahatmas, acharyas, and they are always ready to yield the milk of their knowledge. We are the ones who have to be ready to receive them. And just as the amount of milk that a pot can hold depends on the size and the quality, the nature of the pot, that also there is an indirect implication of how we should be. This is a land that is abundant, a land that gives, and that free flowing milk from the udders of the cow, simply by a touch, that's all it takes, and the cows just spill forth their milk in boundless generosity. That is the generosity of the gurus, of the acharyas. And we have to be ready to receive it, for which it is on us to embark on a committed journey of preservation of ecology, of doing what we can to ensure the sustenance, the harmonious coexistence of man and nature, and a thriving biodiversity. We have to ensure the protection of the water bodies, of the landscapes, of the flora and the fauna. And so this is a very beautiful pasuram with a strong ecological message that serves as a timely reminder to us. Very coincidentally, it so happens that this pasuram today falls on a day that happens to be the Guruvaram, and a beautiful connection is seen between the bounteous nature of the cows that yield their milk compared to the Guru Parampara that are here to share the wealth of their knowledge, if only we are ready to receive. The next pasuram again speaks very beautifully of the rain cycle. Pasuram 4. ஆழிமழை கண்ணா ஒன்று நீ கைக்கரவேல் ஆழியுள் புக்கு முகர்ந்து கொடு ஆர்த்தெரி ஊழி முதல்வன் உருவம் போல் மெய்கருத்து பாழியன் தோளுடை பற்பநாபன் கையில் ஆழிபோல் மின்னி வலம் புரிபோல் நின்றதிர்ந்து தாழாதே சார்ங்க முதைத்த சரமழை போல் வாழ உலகினில் பெய்திடாய் நாங்களும் மார்கழி நீராட மகிழ்ந்தேலோர் எம்பாவாய். Here, the cycle of rain is so evocatively, so imaginatively compared by Andal to Mahavishnu and the weapons that he bears. ஆழியுள் புக்கு முகந்து கோடார் தெரி speaks of how water evaporates from all the water bodies, from rivers and lakes. ஊழி முதல்வன் உருவம் போல் மெய் கருத்து. The dark clouds form, and these resemble the form, the hue of Krishna, who is known as Meghashyama, the one who was dark in coloration. Aripol minni, lightning appears in the midst of these dark storm clouds that are laden with waters. Its brightness is compared to the effulgence of Krishna's Sudarshana. Valampuri pol nindradirundu, the thunder. Valampuri pol nindradirundu, like the conch, the resonance, the resounding sound that emanates from the conch is here compared to the thundering that occurs as the clouds clash. Tharade sargam udaitha saramazhai pola. Incessant rain. Saramazha is rain that doesn't cease, like the arrows that speed forth from Saranga. Sharanga is Rama's bow. So the weapon, the bow that Mahavishnu uses is Sharanga. And so in this manner, the plea is, O Krishna, you are the one that causes this evaporation of the waters of the ocean, aggregating into the dark storm clouds that take your form. O Padmanabha, you hold the Shankha and the Chakra. This Shankha Nada is the thunder that resonates in the heavens. The Chakra that flashes is the lightning that can be fatal. The bow that you hold and the arrows that speed forth from it, these are comparable to the shower of rain. Let an incessant shower of rain drench all of us. Let us all delight in this rain of Krishna's blessings. In this manner, let the entire world thrive. Oh Krishna, this is Andal's plea. She says, let us come together. And so we invoke the grace of Krishna, that life on earth and earth itself flourishes. Very deep messages that are contained here. It is hard for us to believe that as a young child, how much of a knowledge and understanding Andal demonstrates of the cycle of rain. She speaks first about light, flashing of lightning, and then she speaks about sound, thunder. And so many beautiful ideas. Further, Uri Mudalvan, the one, the primal, the primordial one in the Vaishnava Sampradaya is attributed to be Mahavishnu. Till today, in times of famine, in times of drought, when the earth lies barren, this pasuram, Azhimalaikanna, is sung, regularly recited. It is believed to bring rain to land that is drought struck. Usually, it is also a commonly observed phenomenon that on day 4 of Margazhi, at least in certain parts, the country, there will be a gentle drizzle in coherence with the message contained in this asuram. What brings rain? This is something that we must ask ourselves. The Bhagavad Gita tells us that everything in this universe is an act of yagna. Yagna is offering. The Devas offer their bounteous blessings to us. In return, we propitiate them through our worship, through our prayers, through our offerings. Yajnarthat karmano anyatra loko ayam karma bandhanaha tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sanga samachara, says Bhagavad Gita 3.9. Swami Ranganathananda, in his very, very beautiful commentary on the Gita, says this yajna is a concept not merely of the earth. It's not limited to just our human experience, this act of giving and receiving, not transactionally, but giving as an offering without expecting anything in return. All of nature gives in abundance. It is only the human that expects in return. This is where there is a difference between a civilization that is anchored in a sense of survival, of competition, and of cooperation, of living and letting others live. This synthesis, this synergy becomes very important for a thriving ecological balance. The whole cosmos is based on the concept of yajna, a wonderful development of thought you will find in Vedanta as well as the Gita. Apologies for that typo there. Everywhere there is give and take going on. But before taking, you first give. Give in abundance, and what you receive will also be in abundance. Nothing is unrelated, and such a beautiful idea that Ranganathanandaji says that the event taking place in any part of the world will affect the entire world. And the concept of yajna is today developing into the truths of ecological balance. There is the conception of the Pancha Maha Yajna, the 5 great yajnas, the offerings that are mandated as part of our Nitya Karma to be done by every one of us. Because if we were to just simply take and take, we are nothing but thieves. It is our duty to be caretakers of the abundance that we have been blessed with, so that there is a living legacy for our children and their children in the future to enjoy. The Pancha Yajnas are 5. There is Deva Yajna, offering made to all the forces of nature, envisioned as the Devatas, in the form of various homas of Archana, Puja, offerings. There is Brahma Yajna, the honoring of the legacy of the Vedic seers, the rishis, where the mantra drashtas, by the process, the continuous ongoing process of adhyayanam, of studying, integrating, and teaching the glory of the Vedic lore, or even supporting organizations that engage in the propagation of Vedic studies. Pitra Yajna, the ritual offering made to honor the memory of our ancestors who walked this earth before us. We are because of them, and whatever they were. The fact is, every one of our existence owes a debt to those who came before us. So Pitru Yajna is honoring debts to our ancestors. Manushya Yajna, offerings that we make freely, liberally, generously, to support other co-humans, co-travelers on this journey of life, in the form of charity, of donation of money, food, clothes, education, individually and collectively, by the building of shelters, hospitals, educational institutes, and so on, medical care, and so on. Bhuta Yajna, our commitment to the world around us, to the flora and fauna around us, our commitment to other plants, to animals, to all other creatures who share space with us. No less than us, it is the human mind that positions itself at the apex of the ecological pyramid. In reality, we are but a part of the whole. We see the mycelium network, the network of the finest fungi threads that is literally the wood wide web, it's known as. This is the mycelium network that lies at the base of our forests. It is through the mycelium network that animals and plants communicate with each other, whether it is communicating threat or the presence of nourishment. Messages are passed instantly and sensed, communicated. If only humans could reflect on this, if we in our lives could behave as the mycelium do, we dismiss them as fungi. They are fundamental to the existence, not just the existence, to the thriving of this planet. But sadly, in our journey, we have become isolated into our own personal spheres, with everything that we do being increasingly about self gratification, self aggrandizement. But if we could shift the lens, if we could think of the collective, then so much can be done individually and collective. Because as a collective, if I identify myself as part of the whole, what happens to the whole will also affect me both positively and negatively. It is for this reason that the spirit of yajna becomes a very important aspect of sadhana. Much of our engagements are transactional. I do something because I get something in return, whether it's money, whether it's attention, whether it is different possessions, whatever it is. There is a transactionality to our engagements, but all such transactions inevitably involve a cycle of pleasure and pain, of gain and loss, of victory and defeat, and therefore repeated cycles of sukha and dukkha. It is only those actions that are performed in the spirit of offering, the spirit with an intention of wellness of the whole, with a true sense that when the collective thrives, I thrive. That should be the spirit that underpins all our sadhana as well. And it is this that is so beautifully highlighted, because when does it rain? It rains. The Bhagavad Gita gives us such a beautiful process by which the rains occur, the rains that Andal speaks about, the thriving ecosystem that she speaks about, where it flourishes, the animals on the land and in the water delight, and there is a harmonious synergy and coexistence. How does this manifest? The Gita says 3.14 and 15. Annat bhavanti bhutani parjanyat anna sambhavaha yajnat bhavati parjanyo yajna karma samudbhavaha karma brahmodbhavam vidhi brahma kshara samudbhavam tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yajne pratishtitam. From food, from the sources of nourishment are born all the creatures, bhutas. All the living beings are essentially embodied consciousness that takes on different forms, as plant, as reptile, as bird, as human. All the forms are essentially embodied Purusha. This is what Bhutani represents. All of life. Where does this life come from? How does it thrive? How does it grow? Because of Annam. How is this Annam accessible? How does Annam grow? How do sources of food grow? From the arrival of Parjanya, from rain. What causes this timely rain? The Bhagavad Gita says, Yajnat Bhavati Parjanya, the correct, proper performance of yajna, where oblations that are poured, that are offered, the best of what we have received from nature's bounty is offered back into Agni. Agni is the Duta who carries these offerings heavenward. As we offer the best of what we have, it manifests as the aggregation of rain clouds. And from this, it rains down, and there is the thriving of earth. Fertility on the earth grows. Where does yajna come from? This idea of yajna itself is embedded in the concept of karma, of how I should live my life. As a human, I am ordained to act. Not acting is not an option, because for our survival, action is needed. And therefore, there is a deliberate choice undertaken by the officiating priests and by the Yajamana, the performer of the yajna, done with generosity, done with the intention of the welfare of the whole. Where are the seeds for this karma coming from? From Brahma. Brahma here refers to the Vedas. The Vedic tenets are the source. And Vedas, because these are the teachings of the Maharishis of the past who have shown us a roadmap to how we live in synchronicity with nature, receiving, holding, receiving with deep reverence, holding with gratitude, passing on with grace and dignity when the time comes to let go. And all of this manifest universe is coming from one source only, Brahman. And so this is a very, very beautiful, very evocative imagery that also places accountability fair and square on our shoulders. We are accountable. We are responsible. We are caretakers. As humans, we have the capacity to see the whole picture. Other creatures do see it in their own way. I think all animals, all plants, they see their role in the totality. Sadly, we have divorced ourselves from that, moved further and further away into our own closed spheres of existence, increasingly selfish, increasingly looking only at our own needs, and to the point where apathy, indifference to others' plight becomes a dominant aspect of human nature. Call to action. This is the call to action that we see in the third and the fourth pasurams of Andal. What am I doing to ensure that life on earth thrives? Because this is a precious treasure that we have been blessed with. What is my role? What accountability do I hold here? At the bare minimum, the five yagnas are mandated in some form, in some way. Can I enable the thriving of life around me? In the course of me living, can I ensure that I take others along without stepping, trampling on their toes, or interfering into their space? This is collective growth and collective harmony. But at the bare minimum, what I can do is hold in my mind a thought for the welfare of the whole. It starts with a thought. It is the thought that translates into action, and the action is what transforms. Eventually, what we start doing just like that becomes a habit. The habit becomes a bhavana of offering, because you can only offer with a sense of reverence. Otherwise, it's transaction. And it is that offering, that attitude of offering, of seeing others, of being empathetic, not just to those who matter to you, not just to friends or to family, but to the world, to the universe at large, to see the self in the other and the other in the self, and to come together. And so the bare minimum that we can bring to this is, while I say bare minimum, can be tremendous in its potency if there is a collective coming together, if there is a collective willing for the welfare of this universe. As Andal says, நீங்காத செல்வம் நிறைந்தேலோர் எம்பாவாய். Let us all be blessed. Because when it rains, it doesn't rain for one, it rains for the whole. It's a very beautiful Tamil kural that says that if there were but one noble person, நல்லார் ஒருவர் உளரேல் அவர் பொருட்டு பெய்யும் மழை. If there but one person who holds this noble intention in mind, for that intention, the rains will come. But when the rains come, they don't rain for one, they rain for all. And the prosperity of the nation is to be enjoyed by all. நீங்காத செல்வம் நிறைந்தேலோர் எம்பாவாய் is what Andal says. Let us hold that in our mind as we move into the meditative practice for today. I request you to please be seated with your back straight, eyes closed, chin down. Take a few breaths. Deep breaths in and out. Allow your thoughts to settle. Bring your attention to the here and now. Please stand up now. Place your palms folded in front of your chest. I will chant as you inhale. I'd like you to inhale, raise your arms above your head. As you chant, bring them down in a broad circle, a very broad circle, as if you are envisioning the entire universe. The mantra, the chant that I'm using is an excerpt from a mantra that is often used as a blessing. Swasti prajabhya paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahishaha go brahmanebhya shubhamastu nityam loka samastha sukhino bhavantu. Let everyone, let all the beings of this world dwell in swastha. Let them be well. Let the rulers rule righteously. Let the cows, let the cattle thrive, because an abundant cattle, presence of cattle indicates abundance of crops. It indicates availability of resources. Go Brahmane. Another very beautiful connection here, as I mentioned, that Pasuram specifically speaks about, Pasuram 3 speaks about the cow being compared to the Guru, the one who's ready to give. The Brahmanas are those who are the seekers of the truth. Let us not get into the debate of the Brahmin caste. These are recent debates. Let's not get into this. But the Brahmana is the seeker of Brahman, the one who knows the Brahman, whoever that is, whoever is a teacher, whoever has wealth of knowledge to share with us. Let them live, because in the absence of that insightful wisdom, where would we be? Because they are the ones who show us the pathway. And so let nature be in abundance. Let those who teach us about our nature and the relationship of ourselves with nature at large, let those acharyas, let them thrive. Loka samastha sukhino bhavanti. Let the world at large, let all beings in all the lokas thrive well in great abundance and great joy. This is the prayer. I will chant just the last line. Move your hand up. In your mind, hold this intention as I chant for the welfare of the whole. You are a part of that collective. As you bring your hands down, draw them in a wide circle, simply envisioning everything around you well, prosperous, fertile, healthy, thriving. Inhale. Loka samastha sukhino bhavantu. Loka samastha sukhino bhavantu. Inhale. Loka samastha sukhino bhavantu. Loka samastha sukhino bhavantu. Inhale. Loka samastha sukhino bhavantu. Loka samastha sukhino bhavantu. Inhale. Loka samastha sukhino bhavantu. Loka samastha sukhino bhavantu. Inhale. Loka samastha sukhino bhavantu. 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 Now please sit down. Comfortable seated position. There are many ways we engage with nature around us, but one that is continuous, whether we realize it or not, is through the breath. What the trees around us give out is what we breathe in. What we give out is what nourishes the flora. This is the nature of the ecosystem at large, of giving and receiving with so much grace, so graciously. The sun shines for all. The light of the moon falls for all of us. Nature at large is available for us. It is for us to handle this Prakriti with care, responsibly. And the simplest point of our engagement is breath. For some time now, as we do the pranayama, I'd like you to hold this visual in your mind. Imagine a massive tree, a tree that you've seen, any tree that has always called out to you, huge, massive girth of the trunk, large, expanding branches filled with foliage, blossoms, full of birds, a huge green canopy above, long roots below. Just envision an old, wise tree rooted below, spreading out above. Just visualize yourself seated at the base of this tree. Hold this image for a few minutes in your mind. Now, as you breathe in and out, just ensure that you're breathing to your capacity. Expand your chest. Breathe in as much as you can. Exhale slowly, completely, deeply. Gently pulling in the abdomen, fully breathe out. As you breathe in, visualize all that is healing, all that is nourishing, simply flowing into you with your breath, given to you by this tree that you're seated at the base of, from all of nature. There's so much unseen, unknown, tiny aspects of nature that support our very existence. Simply visualize all of this flowing into you, through the lungs, through the prana to every part of the body. As you exhale, simply exhale with gratitude. Just say thank you. Send forth your intentions for the wellness of the whole. If you can, visualize nature around you thriving. The earth blossoming, the mycelium network healthy, plants, trees attracting bees, butterflies, a thriving animal population that is always in balance, the absence of man-nature conflict, skies that are free of pollution, water bodies that are clean, filled with the nourishing nectar of life. Amrita, water is Amrita. And so a fully restored aquatic ecosystem, the coral reefs thriving, all creatures on land, in water, the skies above, thriving. If you can, visualize this as you exhale. With every exhale, exhale in gratitude, exhale with an intention. Send out that intention for a thriving ecological balance and a sustainable biodiversity wherever you are. Bring in the blessings of what the plants, what the trees give to you. As you send it out, as you exhale, send out your intention for the welfare of the whole. Please stay with this visual until I tell you to stop. Now, please hold this visual strongly as you continue to breathe. Draw in the abundant healing that the universe has to offer us. With every exhale, just continue to express gratitude and an intention for wellness of the whole. I will be chanting an excerpt from the Dashashanteya. Pashyema Sharada Shatam. It says, let us come together. Let us live joyfully. Let us celebrate 100. Let us see 100 autumns. Let us come together. Pashema is a collective usage. Let us all come together. Let us live for 100 years. Let us delight in life for 100 years. Let us speak together. Let us engage together. Let us all thrive under the light of this glorious Surya, under the benevolent light of the Surya, of the sun. I will chant this. Every time I finish one iteration, I will stop. Please chant Loka Samastha Sukhino Bhavantu. There. I'm doing it 7 times. Envision the beings of the 7 lokas. We looked at the 7 lokas on the first day. Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Mahaha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satyam. There are other realms beneath as well. For now, let's focus on the 7 upper realms from the earth above to the realm of Satyam, to the realm of Brahman. Simply hold in your mind wellness, welfare, growth, abundance. Everyone, all creatures, everywhere. पश्येम शरदः शतं जीवेम शरदः शतं नन्दाम शरदः शतं मोदाम शरदः शतं भवाम शरदः शतगुं शृण्वाम शरदः शतं प्रब्रवाम शरदः शतमजीतास्याम शरदः शतं ज्योक्ष सूर्यं दृशे लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु पश्येम शरदः शतं जीवेम शरदः शतं नन्दाम शरदः शतं मोदाम शरदः शतं भवाम शरदः शतगुं शृण्वाम शरदः शतं प्रब्रवाम शरदः शतमजीतास्याम शरदः शतं ज्योक्ष सूर्यं दृशे लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु पश्येम शरदः शतं जीवेम शरदः शतं नन्दाम शरदः शतं मोदाम शरदः शतं भवाम शरदः शतगुं शृण्वाम शरदः शतं प्रब्रवाम शरदः शतमजीतास्याम शरदः शतं ज्योक्ष सूर्यं दृशे लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु पश्येम शरदः शतं जीवेम शरदः शतं नन्दाम शरदः शतं मोदाम शरदः शतं भवाम शरदः शतगुं शृण्वाम शरदः शतं प्रब्रवाम शरदः शतमजीतास्याम शरदः शतं ज्योक्ष सूर्यं दृशे लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु पश्येम शरदः शतं जीवेम शरदः शतं नन्दाम शरदः शतं मोदाम शरदः शतं भवाम शरदः शतगुं शृण्वाम शरदः शतं प्रब्रवाम शरदः शतमजीतास्याम शरदः शतं ज्योक्ष सूर्यं दृशे लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु पश्येम शरदः शतं जीवेम शरदः शतं नन्दाम शरदः शतं मोदाम शरदः शतं भवाम शरदः शतगुं शृण्वाम शरदः शतं प्रब्रवाम शरदः शतमजीतास्याम शरदः शतं ज्योक्ष सूर्यं दृशे Loka samastha sukhino bhavantu. पश्येम शरदः शतं जीवेम शरदः शतं नन्दाम शरदः शतं मोदाम शरदः शतं भवाम शरदः शतगुं शृण्वाम शरदः शतं प्रब्रवाम शरदः शतमजीतास्याम शरदः शतं ज्योक्ष सूर्यं दृशे लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु. Just stay in this moment. Draw your attention back to your breath. Let go of the visualization. Simply hold in your mind a prayer. Prayer for the wellness of the whole family, of friends, of those we don't know, of those we know but dislike, strangers, the world at large, the animals, the plants, birds, reptiles, the denizens of the upper realms. Let the universe in total be well, be in abundant harmony. Let the resonance of our inner sphere merge in synchronicity with the resonance of the cosmic spheres. Hold this as your intention as I offer the closing chant. स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्ताम् न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यम् लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतङ्गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु. Thank you for joining me on this journey. We meet again tomorrow, day 5, Margashirsha. Namaskar.